our Rakdos Burn deck on MTGA. So I played a little bit off stream, just trying out a regular Monored Aggro deck. I think I still need to tune it, because obviously you see I didn't do very well, but anyways, I've also decided to kind of mess around with the Rakdos Burn deck because I'm not completely satisfied with how it's doing. The biggest issue right now is the fact that I think the matchups are pretty bad in gold, which is where I am right now. I am not entirely sure if Fanatical Firebrands are good or not in this meta in gold. Against Mono Blue, it's good. Against Adanto Vanguards, this card is good. Sometimes against Golgari, this is okay. You take out their Llanowar Elves, and you can also kill Branchwalkers and Jadelight Rangers when they enter the battlefield. The Explorer still triggers, but they start off with 1 toughness, so you can sack it and kill it. But other times, this card is completely useless, and I'd rather have 2 drops. So I added 1 more Electrostatic Field. I'm trying 1 Direfleet Daredevil. I removed 1 Banefire, and I removed 1 Firebrand. The Direfleet Daredevil, so first strike as a 2/1 is actually pretty important in this format, I think. And every once in a while you get to actually use the enter the battlefield ability, but it's not, it's not like you have to play it and get the extra value. Sometimes just having the first striker is, in my opinion, good enough. Let's see. So let me fiddle around with a few things on my stream and we'll get started. All right. Yeah, like I said, so this modern red deck I was playing, I wasn't doing particularly well in, because I was messing around with some cards. I don't know why I only have 3 shocks in there. I think it's because the last game I played, I was still tracking it. Anyway, Rakdos Burn, again, in gold, my win rate tanked during the games that I played off stream, off recording. So we'll see if this is any better. I think this deck at least gets a little bit better once the new set comes out and we actually see Rakdos cards and we get the Rakdos land. This is actually kind of a bad start. This is okay. This is better. I mean, we still have 2 tap lands. It's a little bit awkward. Okay, so next turn we can at least play out a Lava Runner, but... So, surprisingly, the opponent had nothing to do on turn 2. That's actually kind of weird. Why did they, Well, let's attack. Our hand isn't particularly good either. We have too many lands in our hand right now. Are they not? Well, I guess we'll let this happen. I don't particularly want to blow my Banefire right now. No attacks. Sovereign's Bite. It's probably better if we don't take 2 damage because our Lava Runner's only a 1/2. The question is, do I want to... Do I want to Wizard's Lightning this? I don't think so. I don't think I do. Do I want to Banefire something? No, I don't. We're kind of behind now just because there's no way for us to profitably interact with History of Benalia. So at some point, we're going to have to do some stuff. Okay, so we're going to have to blow both of these now. The Ascendant is going to get flying very soon, but for now, we can at least still profitably block with the Lava Runner. I mean, here's the thing, I still don't want to Banefire or something. It just seems like such a waste. I don't think we're going to win this game. I don't think we have enough gas. Like, it doesn't really matter what we do. I don't think we could come back. This deck is not very good at coming back from stuff. Like right now, a Sword Point Diplomacy really wouldn't do anything. Risk Factor wouldn't do anything. This doesn't really do anything because our Banefire is... Like, I could see the argument for playing Lava Coil instead of Banefire. It's because sometimes it, Yeah, I think we're going to lose this match. But this is kind of the problem in Gold is... You only see a few decks. It's like... I mean, we're just going to do this. I don't think we're going to live. But the issue is we see a lot of these mono white slash red white slash green white decks, and those are really no good for us. And Golgari is also not a particularly good matchup for us. Drakes, I don't know how I feel about playing against Drakes. I think it's okay. The funny thing is this deck is actually pretty good against Monored Aggro. I like this. The weird thing is I actually haven't seen many Monored Aggro decks in Gold. I don't know why. I really would have expected to see more. But for whatever reason, it's just not happening. Mono blue. Interesting. Well, they for sure cannot counter this on turn 1, so they're probably going to opt. No opt. Okay. Well, never mind then. This guy's very, very handsy. This might be Drake's then. So we will Risk Factor or... I'm actually just going to Shock because they have 3 mana. This is what, like, some kind of control deck, I'm assuming. So they did not counter. I don't know if I want to Electrostatic Field number 2. I feel like it's risky. I feel like it's really risky. So in this matchup, this is where Banefire excels, because you end up being able to burn them out, and they can't counter it, because by the end of the game, you're gonna have, you know, 6 lands. I hope they have a 3-mana counter. Okay, that's good. They had a 2-mana counter. I would have been a little hesitant. So at this point, we will Electrostatic Field number 2, and then Sovereign's Bite. So the one okay thing about Risk Factor being countered is that it goes into your graveyard, unless they syncopate it. If it goes into your graveyard, you can still jumpstart it for like a land or something, and it's nice. If it gets syncopated, different story. So I don't know if this is a deck playing Drakes or Niv Mizzet. I also don't really want to throw out another Electrostatic Field here. We can't play 2 spells this turn anyway, so I'm gonna maybe end of turn Risk Factor. Or actually, I'm gonna Risk Factor now, since they're tapped out. They'll probably take the damage. No, they gave us the cards. Hopefully we have enough juice to completely burn them out. They might have Deafening Clarion here. If they have Settle the Wreckage, obviously that card is useless against us. But Deafening Clarion, I feel like, is something these lists usually play. Could be a Niv Mizzet, although they only have 6 mana, so a Niv Mizzet by itself wouldn't necessarily do the trick. Okay, so let's think about what we want to do here. We could kill Niv Mizzet. But is it worth it? Well, here's what we can do. K2 Lava Runner. No Electrostatic. I don't know. Let's see. If we use a burn spell plus K2 Lava Runner to kill Niv Mizzet, it puts them at 7. And then Lightning Strike plus Wizard's Lightning. No. Lightning Strike. Wizard's Lightning to the face. 3, 4, 5. I kind of do like taking out their Niv Mizzet though. Or if we just throw both burn spells at them right now, it's 8 damage. Okay, so they didn't block. So that makes things easy for us, because we can now, I think that's enough damage, right? Unless I miscounted. But I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. So that was kind of a wild game. It would have been a tougher decision if they had blocked the Lava Runner, but they didn't, so. Yeah, but this deck actually does okay against control, just because it really, I'm gonna keep this, even though we don't have a black mana. We have some good turn 2 plays. Okay, so we're gonna do this now. Not give up the fact that we have black mana here. Make them think we're some sort of weird mono red deck that actually plays electrostatic field. If they play another creature, we have to burn something out. Because we want to keep them off Legion's Landing at all costs. So what did they protect? Wait, I'm confused. It shows the vampire token. Alright, we have to keep them off Legion's Landing. I mean, there's no other option, I don't think, right now. Okay. Do we Wizard's Lightning the token now? I think we do. I mean, this is not the greatest use of our mana, but... Because I think they just drew that land. Okay, so I don't think we can keep them off Legion's Landing any longer. They'll probably exile Risk Factor. They might exile the second electrostatic field, I'm not sure. They did. So I think in this matchup we don't have anything good to Direfleet Daredevil. So let's just play it now. Sometimes this thing plays the pump spell. Well, now we can't even profitably block. And they get their Legion's Landing. So we take 13 if we don't block. Right? 13. Yeah, we're not going to block. Not yet. And a Healer's Hawk. So I think we're dead now. Yeah, we're dead. There's nothing we can do. There's no combination of cards that saves us. So I think in that situation, it might have been better to not try to burn out their little dorks and save the burn for Benelish Marshall. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have an opinion either way, let me know. I'm not convinced this is a great hand, but I'm gonna keep it and play a Cinder Barons. Okay, so they took 2 damage for Flower. That means they didn't have an untapped land. Here's the problem. Now we're gonna Firebrand. I don't really. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what happened because they played untapped land to play Flower. Okay, so in this case, we have to Lightning Strike Imara. Then, unfortunately, Cinder Barons again means we can't play our Lava Runner. So we do have 3 burn spells. Saproling Migration ain't particularly great for us. We're gonna do this just so we can attack with the Lava Runner. I'm okay if they double block. Though I don't know, are they gonna convoke something? That's the question. Arch Veraska. And an Amara. So these Saprolings are really difficult for us to get through. We haven't really drawn any of our gas, which is the issue right now. Let's see if they want a chump block. They do not. So what do they have? So we have 6 points of damage right now. I guess we do this now. I feel like they're setting up for like a huge March of the Multitudes. That would be my guess. 'Cause I don't know why they would be holding up so much mana. We're gonna do this now because I feel like they have March of the Multitudes, and if they do, we can't really stop it anyway, but you know, because it's an instant, they can react. Yeah, I mean, we can't, there's nothing we can do to stop this, really. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, so 11, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not 11. Not even close. We are gonna attack though. They only attacked with 2. Do we want to shock one of these things? I think we do. I don't know if that was the right play. Actually, I think that was the wrong play, right? It depends, because if they attack with these things, they're at 10 now. So it's not like we could have burned them out. They would have been at 11, because I wouldn't have killed that other guy. This is a close game. So they didn't attack. They ended up playing Loxodon. So we have to kill them next turn. So I think if we had held the shock, we would have actually beaten them. As it stands, what we have to do now is Lava Runner, Lightning Strike, Wizard's Lightning, and then no attacks. And then, I don't know. So I think we still have... They can't kill us next turn unless they... I don't know, play a pump spell. There's that 2-mana pump spell that these decks sometimes play. We're not close to Banefiring them out. So the only thing we could take is March of... Well, we could take a Saproling Migration and play that. We could March of the Multitudes. I don't think... I guess we'll hold on to the Direfleet Daredevil for now. Can they Arch of Araska? They can. That's tough for us. They're going to be drawing 2 cards every turn. Sometimes. So I think we need to Lightning Strike their Vanguard and hope that they take the 4 and make it indestructible. I doubt they do that though. Like, I severely doubt they do that. But we have to hope. Actually, let's think about this. So we can do 3 damage, 5 damage next turn if we draw a land. If we don't draw a land, I think we're just dead. Right, at this point there's no way they pay life, right? I don't know. This kind of hinges on if they would have paid life for the Vanguard or not. Actually, we didn't even have enough for Banefire, now that I think about it. Do we... Sovereign's Bite is not going to do it. If we Direfleet Daredevil and play Saproling Migration, we only get 3. If we Sovereign's Bite, Direfleet Daredevil, and hit Flower, we can't do anything with Flower. We can't can't do both. Sovereign's Bite, 17. What can they do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 21, minus 5. 1 minus 5 is 16. We'll be at 17. I mean, we can't play it, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe it was still correct to Lightning Strike their face, because the Vanguard wouldn't... Killing the Vanguard wouldn't have saved us yet another turn. And they probably just would have let it die. I think I did the math right there. If I did it wrong, we're screwed. So this becomes a 5-3, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. We have 17 life. If they play a Flourish, we're dead. That kills us too. I believe that kills us as well. That was close, because we would have had Banefire next turn. So I don't think we can block. Yeah, this is... We'll let it play out though. That was super close. This is a one lander. Our opponent is going first though. This is a 50-50 on when we hit our second land. Because I think with this hand we can actually operate. But I think we have to mulligan. I mean, realistically. I mean, we do want a risk factor, but we also want a third land. But we don't need our third land that soon. So I think I'm actually going to keep it on top. So hopefully Direfleet Daredevil, if we can hold it for a little bit longer, it'll be good. Because inevitably they're going to shock something or lightning strike something. We're actually going to risk factor now just to get another point of damage in. I could see the argument for doing it at the end of their turn, just so it's a little more of a surprise, but because we're playing against another aggro deck, I feel like one more damage is important. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't do both. So I want a lightning strike now, because I don't want any risk of them playing out like, you know, 2 shocks or something. Unfortunately, this comes into play tap, so we can't play our Pyromancer. And they still haven't played any instants. There we go. Finally. Do I go to the face? No, I don't. I think I gotta kill this guy. I mean, they're probably gonna shock or do something to the Daredevil, but... So the question now is, does this deck play Flame Coil? I like this. So they have to give us at least one of these cards. They might not give us either of these two. They gave us the Sovereign's Bite. That's actually super surprising. They gave us everything, actually. So we can play a land. We can play another Sword Point Diplomacy, actually. So they can't kill us next turn. So let's do this now. Did they just give us everything again? They didn't give us the risk factor? Oh, they took away the Pyromancer. Alright. Interesting. Okay, so because they didn't hold up any mana... Well, never mind, it doesn't matter. Let's play the land first. So I think we definitely want to just do this and then win. No point in messing around. So I find against Monored Aggro, this deck actually does pretty well. If you can, you know, obviously all things considered, if both of you guys are on a good curve, you can gain some life, and it ends up being the difference. We're going to keep this. We're a little light on burn. I mean, we can Lavamancer into Wizard's Lightning, and hopefully that'll be good enough. This might be Boros aggro. No. I think we're facing a control deck again. The issue is if they syncopate for one, we're kind of screwed. They didn't have a counter because it passed priority right away. Because I was going to Electrostatic Field. But clearly they did not have. Alright, we're going to attack. We're going to do this, and we're going to pass. And Risk Factor. They might have a Deafening Clarion. Or a Syncopate. That's what I'm concerned about now. Alright, we're going to do this now. And then we're going to throw down our Electrostatic Field next turn. If we get a land, we can play two things. That would be very nice. Do I want a Sword Point Diplomacy now? Because we'll I don't think I do. I mean, I think at this point we say you can counter one of our things, but probably not both. Okay, here's the problem. I would really like to draw a land at some point. Let's throw this down, though. The heck is this? Oh, it's a Plains. I really don't know. I mean, at this point, I just feel like my Sovereign's Bite would have certainly gotten hit with a, not my Sword Point Diplomacy. I just don't want this to get countered, but it's kind of difficult to figure out what to play, and I might not have played these things in the right order. Mirari Conjecture. What do they have that... I think their plan is just to fight with fire ×2 and kill me. How many? They need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're going to be able to do that. They also potentially could have a counter spell. If they don't, we can Wizard's Lightning and just win. Negate. Let's do this now while they're completely tapped out. Because what's going to happen is once they... Oh, okay, so they have to kill Electrostatic Field. Or else anything I play kills them. Because this thing triggers even if it gets countered. The 1 damage trigger. So they have to Deafening Clarion. They didn't get Fight with Fire back though. So, do they have a Fight with Fire in their hand? Expansion. What do we do here? I think we have the Risk Factor. Well, Sword Point Diplomacy gives us 3 cards for sure. Risk Factor also gives us 3 cards. I mean, if they have a counter spell, I assume they have another Fight with Fire in hand. We didn't hit what we needed to hit. This is very unfortunate. Because with the Mirari Conjecture, if they kick a Fight with Fire, we just take 20 damage. Does that mean they don't have? They didn't have Fight with Fire? Although at this point they could have 2 counter spells. Or that. So yeah, we're in trouble. Maybe we should have played that out later. Do I risk? I mean, at this point, they could take... Well, they can't... They could try. I'll give them the option to take the 4 damage. I want to do this now, well, because next turn they're going to have even more cards in their hand. They can only counter one thing, unless they have a Spell Pierce and a Negate. Do I Wizard's Lightning them now? I think I do. And that forces them to spend something to answer the Pyromancer, which means they can't, I don't know. They can do pretty much whatever they want, really. They have a full grip of cards in hand, but it's kind of a matter of, they probably assume we either have a burn spell or a land in our hand. So they need to factor in countering one risk factor and killing the Pyromancer. We need to draw Banefire. That would be great. So this is our third Pyromancer, so it's unlikely that we have another one. This prevents you from playing the same card. So let's try this. Hopefully they don't have 2 counter spells. So that's so funny. We can't even play the second Pyromancer. I don't know. I mean, why do we have to draw our 4th Pyromancer though? That's so weird. Okay, that's it, right? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Okay, well, we're back at 3-3, so hopefully we continue to do okay. But like I said, like against control, we usually do pretty decently because we can just end of turn throw burn spells at their face and then eventually Sword Point Diplomacy, or if we hit a Banefire risk factor, they'll push us over the edge. This is an okay hand. We always want to see like one risk factor or Sword Point Diplomacy. And then also it would be nice to have a little bit more burn. We only have 1 shock. Is this another control deck we're facing? The question is, do I put out Electrostatic Field now? Or later? Because now would be, you know, throw out the Pyromancer, start putting more pressure on their life total, make them Deafening Clarion. This is... Okay, so they're not running white, they're running black? They might not be running black, they could just be running it for discovery. Interesting. Well, we're never gonna get to cast Dispersal with Direfleet Daredevil, so... Now the question becomes, do we Pyromancer? I think we do. Because the other option would be to risk factor. At the end of their turn. We could conceivably Direfleet Daredevil and then Discovery though. Okay, so this is actually a Drake's deck. Do we shock their face? That's the question. I think we do. I think we pass for now, and then risk factor at the end of their turn. Let's risk factor now. I don't think they play counters though. Right? This deck doesn't, this deck shouldn't play counters, right? So I'm gonna let it go. Because I don't want them to know about the risk factor until after they've played out their cards. I mean, obviously if they have if they have a counter spell, that kind of scares me over, but I don't think the Drake's deck plays counter spells. Chart a course. Damn it. Let's do it now. They could still have a counter spell. But if they draw, you know, draw 2 cards, they could also have a counter spell after they draw 2 cards, so. Do I want a Discovery or Chart a Course? Or do I want to shock something? I might just want to shock something, honestly. They throw out their Niv Mizzet. I mean, I do think... So let's attack first. I think I wait on the Direfleet Daredevil because there's no way, there's absolutely no way they're gonna see it coming. I mean, this deck plays, I don't think this deck plays Lightning Strike. I think Shock is it. I want to do this before they get to draw their next card. I actually want to keep my Direfleet Daredevil though. Just kidding. Or not. Just kidding. I forgot this was in my graveyard. Of course, if this was a Banefire, it would have the same effect. We'd be able to win. But, okay, so they're tapped out. We're going to go for this play. We're going to take their Shock. We're going to cast Shock to their face. Okay, great. So, this is a one-of. We have one of Banefire. Yeah. Let's continue on. So I am, not going to be in my apartment for 2 weeks or so, so I'm probably not going to be able to stream this deck for a while later. But, I don't know. This hand is not that great, but we have things we can play. What do they have, a Syncopate? Radical idea. So this is probably a Drake's deck. A lot of these decks now aren't playing Arclight Phoenixes anymore, they play Niv Mizzet. So I think our slow start might doom us. I mean, do we want to kill this Drake? Is the question. We can Wizard's Lightning and Gitu Lavamancer the Drake. Or we can Wizard's Lightning their face. I might end a turn Wizard's Lightning them. I don't think I want a 2-for-1 myself. I'm assuming they have another Drake out or something. If they hold the Drake back to block, this we have to kill. They can Radical Idea, they can play something else right now. Electromancer is too good. We can't let that go. Still, I think this game we've seen too many lands to probably win the game. Especially if they have Lava Coil. I was hoping they wouldn't have Lava Coil. Because like shocks don't take out. Actually, that's interesting. So they did not attack with the Drake. But I have to assume I think I want to go to the face though. Right, because we have with this we'll have 5 damage with Banefire. That's 8. I mean, that's not even close to being enough.
Show me what you've got. Come on.
Okay, well this still isn't great for me. I mean, in most situations, it's kind of a win, but still not perfect. Because we threw away 2 cards for one of their cards. And they still have a bunch of cards in hand. And our Banefire, as good as it is, they just have too much life. There's no way Banefire is going to be enough. Especially now with Murmuring Mystic, that increases their clock extremely. Maybe we should have Banefired the Murmuring Mystic. I think we probably should have Banefired the Murmuring Mystic. But still, even so, I think we still wouldn't have had enough gas to possibly win the game at all. I just don't think it's a possibility. If we go to the face for 3, we can Banefire for 6. The next turn they just kill us straight up. I don't think there's anything we can do to win, honestly. Like, they would have to completely blow it to lose this game. They'll have lethal next turn. Or this turn. Alright. So we're going to play one more match, and it'll determine if we end the day on a positive note or a negative note. I mean, so if that Banefire were a Lava Coil, right, it wouldn't have really mattered in the long run because we're just still too far behind. Maybe it's a hand we should have mulliganed. This is a hand we definitely need to mulligan. Like, that's not even a question. Let's hope we scry a land. Okay. Red with no turn 1 play is an interesting situation. Okay. So I'm hoping they don't have lava coils in this deck. I mean, a lot of these decks don't play lava coil. Okay. Well, that's just great. I mean, we're behind, so I don't know if the risk factors are going to be good enough. I don't really want to have to use a burn spell on this guy. I might have to. This is also not good. We have a tap land. Because without a, if we didn't have a tap land, we could burn both of their creatures out. But obviously that's not a possibility now. Key 2 Lava Runner. Actually, we should take out their 2/2 and leave their 2/1s. I think we're just dead. So, if we have a oh man, okay, we don't even have a chance to dog tech Sovereign's Bite, which is unfortunate. Okay, you know what? That game went by way too quickly. We're gonna play another one. I guess this is a scenario where maybe if that Banefire were a Fanatical Firebrand, it would have helped, but no, it's all about the matchups. I think this is okay despite the fact that we can't play Sword Point Diplomacy in our hand right now. The opponent did mulligan, but they left something on top. Alright, slightly unfortunate that we drew another one of these guys, so I'm really afraid this electrostatic field is going to get countered, but I don't know. Okay, so apparently they didn't have any counters, because, or they auto-passed immediately, or they didn't have any counters they could play. We really need another land though. Question is, I don't really want to run out electrostatic field. I feel like they have a counter at this point, right? I mean, this is like prime I have a counter territory. What? I don't know what's going on right now. I'm still not playing electrostatic field. They might have Deafening Clarion right now. Chemister's Insight. Do we lightning strike them now? I don't think we do we? Do we? We're gonna do it. Maybe we should actually play Wizard's Lightning, because if they kill our Pyromancer, we're stuck. Okay, they're tapped out. And we've drawn way too many black cards. Yeah, we really should have played the Wizard's Lightning instead of the Lightning Strike.
Keep up the pace.
This is better. This is actually, yeah, this, I don't know why this didn't update. We can straight up kill them with Wizard's Lightning. I'm assuming they're gonna counter it. If we play Sword Point Diplomacy, they don't die. So So I'm assuming they have a counter because they plus to fairy instead of getting rid of electrostatic field. I'm gonna look like an idiot if they don't counter this, because we could have just won with Wizard's Lightning. Okay, this puts us in Wizard's Lightning win mode though, right? Even if they tuck the electrostatic field, any of these cards in our hand we can win with. If we draw something like a like a swamp. So we want to do this before they draw any more cards. We don't want them doing anything with more cards. They could Chemister's Insight, but if they draw another card at the end of their turn, sorry, at the beginning of their turn, they plus to fairy, they get 2 more cards. So they have to play Revitalize or have 4 counter spells to take out our cards in hand. I guess that means they didn't have a counter spell in their hand, because they chemistered it. I don't know. Let's do this. Doesn't matter. So we can double Sovereign's Bite next turn. Hopefully that'll be enough. They could try to dig into a negate now. Is that what they're doing? Holy crap. Okay. Alright, well, 5 and 5. I don't know. Let's play one more, because those games are kind of quick. We'll probably end it here, though. We don't have any burn. We have too many cards and no burn. I mean, this is not terrible, but I'm just kind of concerned. This is not great either. This is actually even worse than our first hand. Maybe. It depends on whether or not we hit our 3rd land. If this gets... okay. I was gonna say... there's no way they had Syncopate in that case, right? This could be a Drake stack. Those usually play Opt. Sword Point Diplomacy now. I like playing this as quickly as possible. That way you have a lot of cards in your hand that they don't know about. Like turn 3, if I have Risk Factor and Sword Point Diplomacy, I'll pretty much always play Sword Point Diplomacy. So when you play it when you have an empty hand, the opponent knows exactly what you have. So they actually exiled 2 things, which is super aggressive. The Field and the Lightning Strike. Murmuring Mystic, okay. Are we gonna play 2 things? We can't. We can Risk Factor. End of their turn, and then play 2 things next turn. I like that plan. Let's not do this now. I think they should have attacked with their Murmuring Mystic. I actually would not have... Well, I probably would have blocked. Actually, so it doesn't really matter. They let us have the cards. So we have another electrostatic field. So let's play this out. I like playing this out. Then we can Sovereign's Bite. And then we can Firebrand. And end the turn. So I don't know how many birds they can make, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. They're going to shock me. So we might be able to put Direfleet Daredevil to good use here. I'm not positive. I mean, the way the math works out right now, Quasiduplicate. I mean, they're getting close to killing us. So what can we do here? They're tapped out, right? Do we care about this one damage? Because with the Firebrand, I guess... So what we're going to do is Sovereign's Bite. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do this. So they're tapped out, right? So... Can we Banefire for the win? We cannot. So let's Sovereign's Bite. Or do we okay, well they can't do anything, right? We can Banefire for the win, actually. Or do we want to Direfleet Daredevil their shock? I think we want to Direfleet Daredevil the shock. I think it's a little bit more fun. We could have also played Banefire, and with the electrostatic field it would have killed them, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit more fun. Alright. So I think we're going to end it there. I think we're going to end it on a positive note. I think these have been some pretty fun games. I'm still not decided on, you know, if Direfleet Daredevil is worth keeping, if Banefire is worth keeping over something like Lava Coil, if I should have 2 Fanatical Firebrands. But yeah, these are interesting games.